Well, you tried it just for once, found it alright for kicks, but now you find out that it's a habit that sticks, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Sneaking in the back door with dirty magazines, so your mother wants to know what all the stains on the jeans, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're getting assault, but you still keep a beat and you meet to pulp, and you're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're a Casanova, you're an Ocho Zephyr. Live on a fucking yourself to death. Orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. You're making out with school kids, winos and heads of state. You've even made it with a lady who puts the little plastic bobbins on the Christmas cakes. Butchers, assistants and bellhops, you found them all here and there. Children of God and the joy strings, international women with nobody hair. Ooh, so well you're asking in an alley and your voice ain't steady. The sex mechanics are off, you're more than ready. You're an orgasm addict. You're an orgasm addict. Johnny won't fuck you always and always. He's got the energy, he will amaze. He's an orgasm addict. He's an orgasm addict. He's always at it. He's always at it. And he's an orgasm addict. He's an orgasm addict.
From the cradle bars comes a beckoning voice that sends you spinning. You have no choice. You hear laughter cracking through the walls, it sends you spinning. You have no choice. You hear laughter.
to The Coven with Blood Ceremony. One of Marta's favorites here on Withershins.
That was a good little block that you played. I
Thank
know how important my praise is to you, so I'm
Thank
just
you
letting
for
you
your
know.
props. Oh my goodness, you are tuned to Withershins, radio for your spiritual side. A twisted approach to the left-hand path.
Yes.
So twisted,
So twisted.
so left, so many hands. And we are here with here Sasha's walking in and talking, doing right what I told him not to do. Just a couple minutes before showtime. We have to, redo this every time. I think we need a little red light above the kitchen table that says "on the air," and teach the young man what it means. I mean, we're in Hollywood. You can't. Crossing somebody's chute is almost as bad as crossing a picket line in our town. Don't cross in between a camera and their object in this town. I'll walk all the way around to shoot, and we got to teach the young, how to operate in our town. I was just saying, crossing a chute in this town is almost as great a sin as crossing a picket line.
Yeah.
You just don't cut in between the camera and the target. It's like it happens around every
There's
corner,
always,
so you're gonna have to figure that out.
They have shoots at our kids' school too.
They have
People
shoots
rent
there.
out the playground and
Yeah,
they have shoots
they
there.
didn't have a playground for like a week because they rented out the school for some sort of shoot. There's a movie crews everywhere, but that's just what you live with around here. So we got to teach Sasha, at least what the microphone is. It's not the same as a shoot, but yeah. I just told him not to come in here and walk in.
Yeah. He seems to think that he doesn't need a calculator on his iPad anymore.
And I
So-
can delete it.
Okay, so we're going to do the show now. Quit bouncing the thing around, dude. Don't bounce the whole table. So tonight, one of our neighbors on the air, we're going to have Marie Vargas. I don't know how long she's been on my friends list. Because Facebook has this thing, if you don't interact with somebody's posts, you don't see their posts that often. So I don't know how long we've been friends on Facebook, but one day I posted a picture of us and our secret skyline, and it said Hollywood Witch on it. And all of a sudden, Marie Vargas popped up. Sure enough, she's on my friends list, and she's the Hollywood Witch. Now, many of you may have noticed on my Facebook page recently, I did a thing that a lot of people might have thought, unheard of.
That I thought you would never do when I met you.
They thought I would never do it, and I'm probably the one hetero male witch that I know to take on the title of warlock. And if there's another one, come on out. We should start a support group because there's probably maybe 3 or 4 of us.
I think Hollywood Warlock is sexy AF.
So it worked. So, yeah, there was already a Hollywood Witch, and of course there is. There's probably already a Hollywood Warlock, but not this Warlock, motherfuckers. And I am deep up in ya, Hollywood. And but then Marie Vargas pops up, and she's the Hollywood Witch, or has a website, is a blog. I think it's a blog, HollywoodWitch.com. And definitely gotten to know her since then, and been all over her Facebook and seeing the stuff she posts, and seems like she's into interesting things that I thought of interest, and it's in my town. It's in our town. I mean, you know the town better than I'll ever know the town because you grew up in the town.
Yeah.
I'm just, I used to come to the town from Long Beach to see punk bands and get really fucked up, and then drive back to Long
You
Beach.
hang out right by my house.
Totally. I hung out right by your house many of those times, but I'm a newer Hollywood Witch or Hollywood Warlock. Yeah. You need to step out. Step away. Sorry. Mom and pop stuff. So we're already 17 minutes. So I want to bring on our guest, Marie. Marie, who accidentally, one of our posts just went out, called her Maria. So I'm going to have to go edit that later. Marie Vargas, you have been holding. You are on the air. Welcome to Withershins, neighbor.
Hey, neighbor, how are you?
Good.
I just want to give a shout out to the official witch of Hollywood, Louise Hubner, who has been the official witch of Hollywood since the 1970s, and she started it all.
I didn't
And
even know there was
after,
an official. Who voted for this?
yes, somebody in the 70s, baby, it wasn't us. But she's still around. She's lovely. She's an icon, and let's give her some props because she is the official witch of Hollywood, and she did the original blessing at the Hollywood Bowl sometime in the 70s. So,
Why do I not know this
Louise
name?
Hubner, because you're new to the neighborhood, baby.
I ain't that new.
Because you're new to the neighborhood.
But I was Long Beach in the 70s.
Yeah.
70s into the 80s. That's my territory there in the witchcraft scene. And you would think I'd know the official witch of Hollywood. It's just like right next door. It's like, an hour, maybe an hour drive away.
Yeah.
10
No,
hours if
I've-
you take the 405.
I've talked to Louise off and on, and she's pretty cool. And you know what? Let's give props because she started it all, and I think she's done a great job. I took the brand name The Hollywood Witch because it just made sense to me because it seemed like I had more celebrities than anybody else, and at 30 and counting, I think I can. I think you can say that I do have more celebrities than anybody else. And so that's why I call myself the Hollywood Witch. I mean, I know that there are a lot of witches in Hollywood, and it's a brand name, man. It works.
Well, there's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Hollyweird. We're not weird here.
Yeah.
Well, we're not strange here. A lot of other places, yeah.
No.
I've, thrived on
Yeah.
that, but, fit right in. And isn't it, there's a bunch of
So-
Hollywood witches that are always out there cursing Trump's star, right? I don't know who they are, but they must be Hollywood
Oh, that's
witches
bu-
unless
no,
they came
no,
from
no.
really far away. They
No,
built a wall
no,
around
no,
it?
no, no. That's all a publicity stunt. All of us know that really practice is that you don't talk about your work. So obviously that was a publicity stunt. If the people that have really cursed Trump they're not gonna talk about it. It's ridiculous. Publicity stunt.
I mean, that is a common school of magic, but there is a whole school of magic where things are done in plain sight, and the energy of the people that witness the thing done in plain sight is the energy of the spell. I mean, that is a practice.
Yeah, but
It's not really.
yeah,
really
but is
creative,
it working? Is it working? No, not really.
but depends
He
on how
seems
much
to be doing
attention you
fine.
get.
So, yeah, I'm just like, nah. You know what? I'm old school. I believe in the 4 laws: to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. That's where I come from. Always worked for me.
The last
so.
part's always the hardest for most people, right?
Well,
They
I
keep
talk a
silent.
lot, but I
People
never talk
endlessly
about
talk and
anything
talk.
that's really important.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. I know. I mean, I'm a publicist. I publicize paranormal groups. I've got a group, the Ghost Finders. They're #1 on Roku, on the Spirit Network. I've got Misha Kappel out of Utah, who's doing some stuff with Destination America. Just came back with a photo of John Zappis. I'm working with Linda Anthony Hill, Haunted Hill House in Texas. I'm doing stuff with National Ghost Hunting Day, which is nationwide. And, I just talked with David Oman, who owns the legendary Oman House that's haunted by Sharon Tate. So, aside from doing magic and readings, I'm also a PR person, and I've also done a bunch of things on TV. Not just the Internet stuff, but I started out on Entertainment Tonight. I was their first vampire expert in the 90s for Dracula. I was married then to John King, who won an Oscar and a couple Grammys. And, just been part of the town all the way back since the Craft, when Caruza owned Panpipes. I studied with Greg Bismarck back in those days.
So wait a minute. Entertainment Tonight, and what was the job?
I was the vampire expert.
They had a vampire expert. Huh.
Yes,
Missed that.
I was the vampire expert for Coppola's Dracula, and I was we talked about a book called Vampires, Werewolves, and Demons by the psychiatrist Dr. Richard Knoll. And so years later, I got used in an article to celebrate the 5th anniversary of Interview with a Vampire, and Anne Rice reached out to me herself, and that was like, wow. I got noticed by the Queen of the Vampires. That was really cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. So how long did they need a vampire expert? It's like, just when, it was back when it was trendy. I never saw
No,
this.
they've had vampire experts off and on throughout the years, but I was the first one. And my partner Tony in New York, who works for Denim Geek, he's the culture editor, was supposed to be the first vampire expert, and he led Entertainment Tonight on a merry chase around New York, and they were freaking out. So they said, we need somebody that we can deal with who's not going to play with us. And I happened to be in L.A., and I was working with Greg Bismarck, and Greg was in the business too. He's done a bunch of movies. And he was like, you can do this, babe. Go ahead. And so I did it as kind of a lark, but I didn't realize that I was starting out on television on the #1 show in its market. And I was so young, and people were calling me from all over the country going, oh, my God, you're on Entertainment Tonight. And I'm like, is that a big deal? I had no idea. I was just a kid. But it was a good experience.
So that you came. So your first role was a vampire expert. That's hard to follow up
Yes.
on. How do you follow up on that?
I'm the Hollywood witch now, babe. I'm the Hollywood witch. So yeah, that was interesting. I've been on Extra a bunch of times. Last time was about a year and a half ago. I predicted 3 things that came true: that the Kardashians would go nuts a week before Kanye went off the reservation, that Angie and Brad would probably never get married again, but they would always stay soulmates. And she said that he was her twin flame a week after I said he was a twin flame. So I either read her mind or she was following me. That's Angie, who I absolutely love. And then I predicted that Moonlight was going to win the Oscars. And I was watching the Oscars, and Warren Beatty made the mistake and said that it was La La Land. And people were patting me on the back and telling me, you can't be right all the time. And then it turned out that I was right. So there you go. There you go. So for the people that are
moment right there.
Well, yeah, and for the people that were my haters as I was coming up, because as you know, there's a lot of jealousy in this town.
What?
They stopped saying that I wasn't. Yeah, they stopped saying that I wasn't a good psychic because it was on film, and now they do other things. But it's like, nah, I got 3 out of 3 on camera. That's a pretty good average. So they stopped calling me a fake psychic after that. Who knew? Who knew? Who knew? But yeah, I would have to say that my experience is that as you're coming up the ranks, people always want to piss on you and say bad things about you until you prove yourself. And then they think of new and interesting things to say about you. I have one hater that's totally off the reservation, and she thinks that I am really Jean Grey and that I have created a mind control machine that looks like a hairdryer, and I'm controlling people's minds with it. Yeah. So a lot of people.
The Illuminati woman. She accused you of being part of the Illuminati cabal, and I read some of that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and so it's to the point now where I'm like, well, I've called the police and I said, do you want to come over and see if I have any sex slaves in the closet? And they're like, no, we're good. We're good. we're fine. We don't think that you have any sex slaves in your closet. The thing about me levitating over her fence, though, that she claims to have witnesses for, they're like, well, we want to at least see that. And I'm like, I'm 4'9", and I'm not as slim as I used to be, so I can't really see myself climbing up a 7-foot fence. But if she has tape of me, like, flying over it with bat wings, I want to see I want to see that. I totally want to see that.
Okay.
So,
at these times, I will usually invoke the name of Phil Hine. Does it ring a bell? Have you ever studied any Phil Hine? It's chaos magic stuff.
Yeah, I like Osmond Spare, but go ahead.
Oh, God. Spare. I mean, if you've got all day, yeah, you can wrap your head around Spare, but Phil Hine, you can understand what the fuck he's saying. Spare, you've got to wrap your head around that ancient mage speak. It just takes so long to get anywhere. Phil Hine.
I like that. I like it, though. I like the poetic, crazy, Crowley babble. I love it.
I've read Phil Hine on the radio with like some background music. It just like totally translates into audio. It's really good to understand. And he did this thing called, what was it? The Go Who Servitor. And
Ooh.
He had a problem with gossip and rumors, like everybody.
Yeah, tell me.
Known in the business, and he was working on a spell to do away with that, banish it, cast it out, cleanse it from his world. And it dawned on him that rumor, gossip, innuendo, true or not true, is part of a mage's power. People talking about you when you are not in the room, when you're not even there. People talking about you when you're sleeping in your fucking bed. That's power. People attributing weird acts to you, satanic rituals and animal sacrifices and bestiality. Yeah, all of that. It's just power. People are focusing this energy on you, but especially when they focus the sick-ass shit like that on you, that's a lot of energy.
I know.
It's just energy. It's notoriety. So Phil Hine changed his whole reasoning, and instead of he was going to create a servitor to banish gossip, and instead he created the Go Who Servitor to create gossip and rumors about himself, blow them out of proportion, and then the best part is to return to Phil Hine that information, to somehow get those stories back to him so he could see how the servitor had been working. And he had catalogs, the craziest shit. He owned this BDSM club in England. He had a male sex slave. Didn't you say something like that? He had a sex slave in the closet. That was one of the rumors that came up.
I want a sex slave.
Just like crazy satanic rituals.
How come?
Yeah, who doesn't want a sex
How
slave?
come I can't have one of those? Well, it's funny because that's what I do. I'm a publicist. That spell is really public relations. So maybe that's why I'm having such a good year, because it's actually been working.
Well, if you look that up, you can Google that later. The Go Who Servitor is for anyone in that position where you are the focus of other people's attention, other people's gossip. You can make that a power source better than a nuclear power source, man. Just like endless power.
I mean,
as long as they talk about you, you got power.
Yeah, well, it works for Kim Kardashian. I mean, come on, let's not be naive here. I mean, Kim Kardashian took that hatred all the way to the bank, and now she's hanging out with the president. So I don't mind following the Kardashian trajectory. I mean, I think my guy's a little bit more sane than Kanye, and he can sing too, but he's still not Kanye. But I'll go there, no problem. Well, I mean, she's selling companies for millions.
Where attention goes, energy flows. You just keep people's attention on you and know what to do with that energy while it's on you, and you can fucking move mountains. And it doesn't matter if it's bad or good energy. It doesn't matter if it's love or hate. Hate's actually more powerful. Get people to hate you and transform that shit as it comes in. Marta's nodding.
Well,
you seem to do
you're
a good
assuming
job.
that you are assuming that I didn't know what to do. I've actually got a pilot up for
I'm just saying that
consideration.
to the listeners. I'm sure you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've got a pilot up for consideration that is being helmed by a 2-time Emmy winner with a consultant who's been on Ancient Aliens, America Unearthed, and The Nostradamus Effect. Not too shabby. That's going in front of network again in about a week. I got a good response on the first go. I've got clients on Destination America. I'm really excited because Ghost Finders should be coming out to do a shoot at a location that I can't talk about, but I really want to, but I can't. But I can come back and tell you all about it because it's in one of your old stomping grounds, and that's all I'm going to say. But they're going to be doing that with a celebrity, and I'm going to be the guest psychic, the Hollywood Witch. And, there's a lot of stuff coming up. I mean, I've had a fairly good year. I've been attacked, and I turned lemons into lemonade, and I have been following the laws of magic and not really talking about it, but considering the fact that it's, I don't know how many planets in retrograde, and all of my haters are blowing up in midair and losing their minds and saying that they're having horrible dreams and apparitions, I'm like, I can only say, well, how could that happen? How could that have happened? I don't know. It's not me. Just like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me, baby. I'm doing an R. Kelly. But whatever. Whatever.
Well,
So
I'll tell you,
gonna.
if those ghost hunters come out and they don't find ghosts there, man, they suck. So you're going to find
No.
You're going to find some shit.
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah. What we're trying to do, though, is, and hopefully, I want to crow about it when I do it, but I'm trying to get some rock stars up in there. So the whole thing, the ghost hunters look like a rock band. So they're all kind of cute, and we just did a photo shoot in the woods. It looked kind of like old-style Norwegian wood, having them ghost hunt with a rock star with some good tunes playing in the background. It's a new concept. It's new. Death and rock. Oh, wait a minute. Death and rock and roll. That's not old, is it? I don't know. Maybe we'll conjure Elvis. Who knows? It'll be fun. It'd be fun.
It'd be bad if you got a rock star and they got scared and ran away.
Not the
it's
rock
like
star.
Ozzy. You got Ozzy there, and he screamed and ran out.
No, you know who I really want, and I hope he's listening. I really want Dave Navarro. I think he would be perfect. And if he's available, I hope he joins us. But at this stage of the game, I think I'm probably going to get somebody from Guns N' Roses, crossing my fingers. So, it'll be good. It'll be good. Yeah. The other thing that is kind of funny that we're going to talk about demons today is because I got quoted in an article on this movie that's come out that's supposed to be the summer's big hit about demons with Greg Bismarck. And I've been getting a lot of action about it. So that was kind of cool. I'm not a demonologist. I actually studied with probably one of the best demonologists on the West Coast for some time until his untimely death. That's David Jackson. I was his last student. And on his deathbed, he told me, you know what, babe, you don't want to do this. This might be too dangerous for you. And I just want to give a shout-out because I still miss David. He taught me quite a bit about ceremonial magic. But I took that to heart, and now years later, I'm covering ghosts and I'm covering demons, but I'm not a demonologist. Although I do have somebody that I would love to have on your show, Chris McKinnell, who is the grandson of Ed and Lorraine Warren, and who is the head of the Warren Legacy Foundation. Now, he was trained by the Warrens, and he knows what's up. So, giving a shout-out to Chris McKinnell, who I'm going to be working with very shortly. He's amazing. He's amazing. And right as we speak, he's living with Lorraine, and he's, kind of taking care of her in her retirement. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
In the chat room, I was going to say it, but I didn't want to give it up. But in the chat room, they're already asking the Heredity movie. I was just reading about this morning. I think that's what you were talking about, the demon thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think I saw a trailer or something from that, but heard some people talk about it. Hadn't really paid attention to it. Been busy.
Yeah, well, you know what? Tony Sokol, who is an incredible writer, read all 3 different versions of the Goetia in their different languages and translations before he even started writing about Paimon because he didn't want to look like a complete and total amateur. And, we went after I don't know. I don't know if Lon is in town. That's Lon Milo Duquette. And I don't know if Poke is in town. That's Poke Runyon. So we went after those two first to see if they could comment because they're like the resident demonologists. And we ended up with Greg Bismarck, who's great. I love Greg, and he knew quite a bit, but not about Paimon. So he wasn't very, he was just like, this is what I know. They're jinn. Which kind of put Tony in a tailspin. He's like, who do we talk about? How do we find somebody that can talk about jinn? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
a good article. It's a good article. So the one thing I wanted to say is I spent a year kind of getting my feet wet in the paranormal world. And, man, I got to tell you, these non-pagan ghost hunters are getting in a lot of trouble, okay? They're trying to deal with demons with table salt. And whole teams are getting sick and having weird things happen to them, and they don't know what's going on.
You know,
They don't know what's
they
going
could
on.
just Google and get the basic information, Have some
Yeah, but it's
frankincense,
not-
some rosemary, some brew,
No.
go in
They-
armed. God,
No,
you could
they
just
watch
Google some shit.
TV. No,
Yeah.
they watch
Yeah,
TV.
a
They
lot
think
of,
super.
a lot of things get.
They think
have to be
supernatural is
researched.
real.
Mm.
And so the year that I was there, I mean, thank God I'm with the people that I am now because I kind of left, with the cream of the crop. I've got some really good people. A lot of them were like, I've been ghost hunting for 5 years, and I don't know why I have all the symptoms of cancer, but I don't test positive for cancer. And I'm like, well, and a lot of them are open to listening to suggestion, but a lot of them weren't because I'm not Christian. I'm Hindu, and I'm a witch, so they don't, I can't possibly be right. And it's like, I don't know, those gallons of holy water you've been bathing in and drinking aren't changing anything, so you might want to listen to somebody, but, what do I know? I've just survived, and sadly they aren't. And I think that's the worst part. I was talking to Chris McKinnell about it the other day, and part of the foundation's mandate is to teach people how to investigate situations safely, and not just with holy water and salt and all the fake stuff they see on TV, but with real stuff that's going to protect them and keep them from getting sick or crazy,
Yeah. I'm thinking of a lot of things. I'd have some
Right?
Castoria, have some Florida water, have some white bath in a bottle or something.
Have fun with it.
Have fun with it.
What's fun about table salt?
What's fun about
Nothing.
table salt? It's boring. And you got to tell the table salt what to do. You got to give it some energy.
They don't know that.
Grab some
They-
salt out of a plastic container and pour it on your fucking head. Now you got bad
Dude.
luck. You got to throw it over your left shoulder still. Shit.
no.
That is
An
awful.
entire team of Ghostbusters bragged for 6 months that they were exorcising demons with table salt. The entire team got sick except for the leader. A lot of them dropped out of it. Now she's back doing her thing. There was another girl who was also doing the table salt stuff, and she's in her 30s, and she had a heart attack. Oh, how could that have happened? Right? And like,
Heart attack. Of all.
I'm like, does anybody realize that the table salt thing isn't working? Anybody want to raise your hands? And I mean, it's just like, so I got to say, I really appreciate speaking to other pagans about ghost investigation because often people want to disqualify what we say and what we know because they think we're of the devil. And yet in the end, we're the ones that actually end up saving their lives. Hello?
Yeah, good luck getting the church to come over to your house to get rid of that demon before you or perform an exorcism, but you can probably find a witch to do it. We're going to take a musical break, and we'll be back.
Absinthe is the aphrodisiac of the self. The green fairy who lives in the absinthe wants your soul.
face it all. I can take all of your fears, transform the way you feel. Welcome to the spirit world, where all your dreams are real. If you want to take a chance, seduction's in the grass, taking you to another place. And now my trip to Wonderland has finally come to an end. And if you're not completely mad, I will be your best friend.
Of course, that's the damned on Widdershins Radio. So, was it Absinthe? I think it was Absinthe. So, yeah, we are with our guest, Marie Barshis. What the hell are we talking about? Ghost hunting, I think, was where we left off.
And table salt.
Table salt.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
we
remember
were.
that.
Thank you for keeping us on track, Marta. Table salt. Probably right out of the plastic containers, like Morton or something like that. Yeah, that'll help you. Help you a lot. So that wasn't working out for them. People were getting sick. Somebody had a heart attack.
Somebody had a heart attack.
Yeah. Well, that all
Yeah,
sounded like it was
and,
working out great for those people.
Yeah, I really feel confident that the ghost finders know what they're doing, because I've talked to Rob off and on for about a year now. He's British, but he's studied and he's a medium. And his wife is a witch. Hello? I think that's probably why they know what they're doing, because they have a pagan on their crew.
Did she teach them how to
I'm-
bless the salt, or why wasn't it salt work? Maybe they needed salt and
Actually-
water, fire and air, the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, she knows what she's doing. And I think that that's the difference between them and the regular crews, who are just people trying to get information from the internet or from hearsay. And a lot of people tell me, sorry about that, there's a fire. I'm coming in. Okay. A lot of people are reporting back to me, as I would say, that the people that are actually working with pagans who have experience working with the forces are actually surviving, where the people who aren't are getting in a lot of trouble. So, I think it's time for an intelligent crossover, because people are getting hurt. And, this isn't an easy industry or an easy genre to work in, although after talking with Chris McKinnell off and on for quite a while, actually, I agree with him that not every single thing is a bona fide haunting. A lot of it is an externalization of the internal stuff that's going on with somebody that has ability. So when you actually do encounter a bona fide demon, you got to know what to do. Because it's not like, I'm going to sprinkle salt on your tail and you're going to away kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like some people
with all due
project thoughts that leave imprints that last for a very long time, depending on the state of mind they were in.
Exactly.
Their ability
Exactly.
to project that thing.
But when you actually encounter a prince, a king, or a duke of hell, you have to know what you're doing, because those jinn or demons, whatever you want to call them, know exactly what to do. And they're ancient, and people don't realize if something is several thousand years old, it's going to be smarter than you. So don't assume that you're going to trick these things. They know exactly what to do.
Especially
And I
if you
think that-
spend like 20 minutes of study on Google and then think you're going to go fuck
Yeah.
with it. Or you watched a YouTube video, how to banish demons, exorcise demons.
Yeah. Ridiculous. You're going to go up against something that is intelligent and has lived for thousands of years preying on human beings, and think that Google is going to save you. Newsflash, not so much.
Who knows?
Not
The
so
demons
much.
could put stuff on Google too, probably.
Demons are bots.
Demons are bots.
Well, actually, no. I think some of the
bots for Satan.
aristocrats are cutting albums and touring Europe and the United States and having some success on the top 40. They don't all hang out in stinky old houses. I mean, some of them are doing really fine on the charts. Let me tell you, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, if I had infinite power like that, I'd be a rock star. Why would I want to be stuck in some creepy old house in the Midwest? I'd want to be at the Forum, at the Hilton. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Demons aren't stupid. People think they're stupid. That's how you get hurt.
Our kid
That's
went
how you get
trick-or-treating
hurt.
at the Nightmare from Elm Street, or
Nightmare
Nightmare
on
on
Elm
Elm Street
Street.
house last year. We didn't even know it
That
was.
Oh, how
my house.
fun.
It was like a couple blocks away from us when we were in West Hollywood. And I would have tricked that house out on Halloween. They didn't even have...
Freddy there or something.
Yeah,
but
they were
just
giving
some
out
random dude
candy,
told
but
us.
that's it.
Then we took a picture of it
Aw,
and
man.
compared it to the one in the movie. It's like, sure enough, that's where they shot that shit.
Well, you know what? Since we're talking about haunted houses, I want to give a shout-out to David Oman, who owns the famous Oman House in the Hollywood Hills that is haunted by Sharon Tate. And he's got a couple of seats left open for a ghost hunt up there this weekend. So if you have an opportunity, go to the website, www.omanhouse.com, and tell Dave I sent you. Because I love him. He's crazy, but he's awesome.
Is that like the house where she was killed?
That's
Or
yeah.
is she
the one-
haunting
It's
now?
right next door.
Oh, next
it's-
door.
it's
She's
right- no,
haunting
it's
the
right next-
neighbors? Damn.
Yes. And you know what? I'll tell you why. When you go and he shows you the video of them constructing the house, they built the frame out of metal. They built a ghost box, man. Dave knew what he was doing. He built a ghost box. That thing is spirit central like you wouldn't believe. It's designed to be that way. There's even a dead Indian and his horse in the basement. Okay? They even have a little offering temple for that. No, man, Dave's serious. I went on a ghost hunt, which is actually online, there a couple months ago, and there was some really weird stuff going on. I mean, visible, identifiable stuff that was going on. Not anything that could have been manufactured. So they picked the right location, they used the right materials, and they've created something that is like a ghost magnet. And the ruling spirit in that house is really ancient. I think before the American Indians. It has a consciousness. Can I tell you something? I saw videos and pictures of this thing, and it's serpentine. Okay? He has them in his house. And it looks like one of those ancient American Indian gods. You know what I'm saying? Like the horned serpent. It's in the house, okay? It's in the basement. For real. Tripped me out. And it's having babies. I told him that the other day, and he laughed. And I'm like, Dave, you've got little baby demons in your house. And he's like, okay, Marie. Okay. So it's definitely got stuff going on. The other thing that I think is historic about Hollywood are the Hollywood ghosts. I was hanging out with Michael Corey. He's another famous celebrity medium a couple weeks ago, and he was at an exhibit for the Black Dahlia, and I'm trying to convince Michael to do like a Black Dahlia seance with me because he's seen and talked to Elizabeth Short several times. And for those of you who don't know who she is, she's the Black Dahlia, the young woman who was murdered in the 30s or 40s and cut into many pieces. Her body was strewn all over this vacant lot on La Brea. She's seen occasionally at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel and several other places on the Hollywood Strip because she used to hang out there all the time, dressed in 1940s attire. Say hi to Elizabeth Short for me if you see her. She's a ghost. You'll know.
Yeah, we were we were once looking at the hotel from American Horror Story Hotel as a venue for
Yeah, that one.
Hoodoo Fest here in Hollywood. But unless they update it, it's like, there was no private bathrooms. You had to go down the hall to use the bathroom. It was just like really way too primitive for people to deal with. So it was interesting that I think they were going to remodel it like last year. So we'll see. That usually doesn't get rid of ghosts.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. There are several other locations that I would suggest. One of them, of course, is the famous Suicide Bridge in Pasadena. That's an easily accessible one. Then there's Valentino's Mansion in the Hollywood Hills, Falcon's Lair. Oh, that's haunted. Woo! The L of the Hollywood sign, because people used to jump off the L in the Hollywood sign to kill themselves if they weren't going to make it in the industry. That's been around. And the back lot of Paramount Studios, because they share a wall with Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So I was a Paramount page. And I got into ghost hunting back then because there were ghosts on the back lot inside the houses in New York Street and coming in from the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Gene Roddenberry from Star Trek haunts the bathroom, actually, in the Roddenberry building. You can smell his inexpensive cologne coming from the stalls. That's the creator of Star Trek, people. That's why they named the building after him.
I haven't seen that one yet. We spent a lot of time there. A lot to see.
At Paramount?
Hollywood Forever.
So Toto?
Yeah.
Toto's like the only animal to be buried there?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I was at Forest Lawn like a couple months ago with my girlfriend, Misha, who's a medium. She's coming up on Destination America. Hopefully she'll be on Ghost Adventures. Not really sure. We'll see if she makes the cut. Hope so. And we went to the tomb of Elizabeth Taylor and talked to Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth is in an urn underneath this giant marble angel across the way from Michael Jackson. So we hung out with Elizabeth for a while. They wouldn't let us into Michael's tomb. And then we went to the backside of the cemetery where all the old movie stars are buried and walked around and saw what was going on. It was really cool. She's really very gifted, and it was strange, but she when she started talking, you knew there was something there because of the temperature and because I'd get goosebumps. And I want to congratulate, hey Misha, if you're listening, congratulations. She actually got picked up for a show that's going to be shooting out of Hollywood. Yeah, people, she's that good. And I'm real happy that she's one of mine. She's one of my girls. So, a lot of stuff happening for my people this year. And my company, by the way, is called Style Coven.
Style Coven?
Yeah.
That's another one of your
We're Style Coven Public Relations, and we are public relations for psychics, ghostbusters, occultists, etc. And we're having a really good year.
Interesting.
Yeah, we're the media sponsor for National Ghost Hunting Day.
So have you found any good ways, you mentioned the other famous graveyard in Hollywood, you've gotten creative at, how to get some graveyard dirt while you're there without all the security cameras? Because those are like two of the most secure graveyards I've ever been to in my life.
Okay. No, it's real simple. It's real simple. There's a parking lot with trees right across from the main mausoleum at Forest Lawn. So you go there with a garden shovel, and you can get as much graveyard dirt as you want. That's
I
easy,
haven't spent
honey.
that much time there, but Hollywood Forever's got serious security there.
No, go to Forest Lawn. There's a parking lot right across from the main mausoleum where the cars are lined up, and there's a row of trees, and you can just go behind the trees and get some dirt. Not a problem.
Because it behooves me to get, famous graveyard dirt. It's like, I don't want some schmuck.
Oh, yeah.
What, you don't want some schmuck,
Some
right?
popper, yeah.
Yeah, some popper. And where would we go from here to do that? The Valley? What? Where are you going to go?
Yeah, just go to,
Long Beach?
it's in the Glendale. It's Glendale. Glendale. Right next door. Right next door. Easy.
Well, nowadays, Glendale's got all kind of, studio activity. It's like the next Hollywood shit. It's like Burbank,
Absolutely.
Glendale.
Yep, just
So
where
those all be
Warner
famous
Brothers
people,
is,
Culver City.
NBC.
Yeah.
Well, Toluca Lake was the home of Frank Sinatra, and he was probably their most famous resident. And then his girlfriend, Ava Gardner, who he eventually married, had a house like right on the border in Studio City. So a lot of really cool old Hollywood stuff on this side of town, I got to say. It's really cool.
Right on. All right, we should take a break. We're going to play a couple songs, come back, do a couple plugs, and we got an hour left. All right, we'll be back. Succubus on Widdershins Radio, and I gotta tell you, people, you should follow the shows. See, we've got this growing network on Spreaker, and I don't know, one of our shows or one of our growing network, they might be going over to Blog Talk. I heard something. Candelo was talking about starting this thing on Blog Talk. I don't know, man.
Are you talking about your package again?
Well, yeah, but he's talking about, Candela's Corner. I don't know if I'll be on the new Candela's Corner, but I'm open to it, and I kept my Mondays open just in case I haven't been asked yet. So I don't know what's going to happen with that show. But Candelo was talking about some sort of a collusion between Spreaker and Blog Talk. And if you could just
no collusion.
If they can collude and Blog Talk give up their format and use Spreaker's format, and find a way to integrate the phone system to where it works better. That's one of the only things that worked at Blog Talk Radio, but Spreaker's been way better. But at any rate, we've got this growing network of workers and spiritual shows on Spreaker ever since the Tigergate fiasco, when we all left Blog Talk and we left the LMC radio network. I mean, let's not play games. That's what fucking happened. I mean, me and Marta, we were ahead of the pack. We didn't even know that was going to happen. We just happened to start our show one day, and then shortly thereafter,
I think you were doing both shows for a little while.
Yeah, we were still on. It was Candela's Corner hadn't been canceled yet. No. The Tigergate thing had happened. He was off getting his initiations in other traditions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. So we started our show during that whole fiasco, and then after that fiasco, a bunch of people, came over here to Spreaker, seeing how good it worked for us. And the thing with Spreaker is, we've got a weekly scheduled broadcast, but everybody that has that weekly scheduled broadcast has a package, some larger than others. And here at Widdershins, we've got this large package, and we can go on the air 3 hours a day, unlimited times, unlimited blocks of 3 hours a day, for as long as we want. We could do 24/7, as long as we reboot every 3 hours. We tested it. We can do that. They're fools. Blog Talk is costing way more, but Blog Talk sucks. But that's how Spreaker's getting people over here, is their package. Hence, our package is so much larger and better and more efficient. But the thing is, you've got to follow us. You've got to click follow when you're there on Spreaker. Click follow, because just hold on now. You're not on the air yet, but we can hear you, but they can't hear you. Till you click follow, you'll never know when we're going to randomly go on the air. We have our Tuesday scheduled program, but when shit really happens in the world, we go on the air. Candela's Corner just decided to be on the air 4 days a week one day. And if you weren't following Candela's Corner, you wouldn't know. Liquid Libations, Ambrosine Laguerre, who's been on our show, still no scheduled broadcast time. If you want to know when she's on the air, you've got to follow everyone's big package. Click follow. You can set up an account at Spreaker in a couple easy steps using your Facebook account, your Twitter account, and then you'll be on the air, and then you can follow us. And then Marie apparently is supposed to have a show. You're on the air, Marie, by the way, right now.
Okay.
We saw the promo for your show, very slick, but where's the show?
We're launching in a couple of weeks because we are moving to a platform that I want to talk to you about. It monetizes immediately.
What?
So, not only, yes.
Oh, Spreaker, look out.
They monetize immediately. That's what I was trying to tell you, baby. They put in ads and you get ad dollars right away.
Okay, well, tell me this. Are they monetized through AdSense? Because they seem to dominate the market. And if they are, that doesn't matter to me, because I never am going to get through AdSense.
No.
Thing happened on the YouTube channel. That's fucked up. Not
The
AdSense.
Hollywood witch likes making money, honey. And as soon as I
Yeah,
start
the Hollywood
talking, the
Warlock
money
likes
starts
making money
flowing.
too, honey. And my
Come
Hollywood
on
witch
down, baby.
likes the money too.
Come
I
on
want you to
down.
make the money.
You want me to make the money?
Yes.
All right. She wants to spend the money. Yes,
We
this
found-
Hollywood
we
witch wants to
discovered-
spend the Hollywood Warlock's money. I'm cool. That's cool. I'll make the
Yeah.
money. You can spend it. Okay.
We discovered a way to monetize as soon as we get on the air, not only through private downloads, but through ads and ads insertion. I've got inroads to platforms that'll monetize it immediately, not just in the United States, but in Australia. Baby, I've been doing my homework, man. Y'all want to make some money, give me a call. I'll hook you up.
Wow. I got you.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that.
Yeah.
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 So
yeah,
early,
yeah.
I am one of the early YouTube witches. Way back in, I'm a pioneer, perhaps, in this in the field of teaching witchcraft on YouTube. Way before anyone was doing it, but I set up my AdSense and I set up my monetization. I got monetization probably like 8 years ago, and something happened. Somebody got in there and like clicked a million times on their mouse. I don't know how it happened, but I got like an invalid click activity thing with the AdSense. And the thing with AdSense, once you're on their list, no way past it. Never,
Yeah.
I've only made money off my YouTube channel through my other sources. And it's been fine, but I haven't got that little extra passive income. I love the passive income where I'm asleep and I'm making money. That's the best. So I'm missing that off my YouTube channel.
Yeah, people are like, where have you been? And it's because we've actually put in the hours to do the research on how to do the best monetization as soon as possible. We were going to set up our own network, and then we decided, wait a minute, there are other platforms that we can either monetize by video on demand, AdWords, not just Patreon. Patreon's becoming obsolete. I mean, these things that we're getting hooked into, it's amazing, and that's what we've been spending our time on. Because we're not doing this as a hobby. Okay, I'm not in this as a hobby. That's one thing that I had a problem with in the paranormal. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you do ghost investigations and stuff, they don't expect you to charge. And I'm like, what?
Time is money, honey.
Yeah,
Time
baby.
is
I'm not
money.
going to spend a couple of grand on equipment and show up and not get paid. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't get you.
Well,
So,
see, the problem when people like that run into me, it's like I'm old, and I'm old school. I'm old school witchery, and I remember the old rules, and the law of exchange was one of the most important. For everything that is taken, something must be given. And
Yeah, man.
without that rule, the thing that is taken will be a pariah, will be a
Yes.
bad
Yes.
thing if you have not given. Cross my palms with silver first, then we'll do
baby.
your cards. You got to
I
get
know.
yours, man. You cannot. And I don't know if this was not Stephen Hawking. Oh God, I don't even know who this was attributed to the other day, but I don't think it was who it really was. But this quote: "You cannot serve others from an empty cup."
Isn't that Confucius?
No, it wasn't
Amen.
Confucius. It was like, oh God, I don't even know. It was an
Yeah.
actor. It was an actor that we wouldn't associate
Well-
with such things. Stephen something. I forgot.
Colbert?
No, not Colbert. That would be good.
No, Steven's good. No, but people don't understand. It's like getting a haircut. Are you going to go and get a free haircut from somebody you don't know? Or are you going to go to the person that actually knows your hair? Because when they cut your hair, it lasts for a while. And let me tell you something. I go to the same stylist and I pay good money to get my hair done. I don't trust these free haircut situations. You know what I mean? And if you care that much about your hair, you should care that much about your readings, your ghost investigations, and everything else. Because let's
Yeah.
face it, man, we're the messengers of the gods. All right? This isn't free for us. This costs us in life force. It costs us in life energy. You know that. You know what? We were talking about this earlier. There were some people that started out with me, with the same teachers, who went crazy. All right? I'm going to knock on wood here because I think I'm sane for the most part. But there are some people that worked with me that didn't know how to ground and how to use their energy in connection with being healthy that went batshit crazy. And you know some of them. We're not going to mention their names, but you know some of them.
The true right-hand path practitioners, they will go crazy. They will give and give and get nothing ever to support their giving. That's the right-hand path, to just serve others. I've always believed in using both hands. There's time to serve others, time to serve the self. And if you don't serve the self, you can't adequately serve others. If you take a vow of poverty, you're never going to be able to bring anything but poverty to the others.
And that whole situation was created by the powers that be to be able to control not only the genetics, because you know what? Let's face it, okay? We weren't allowed to reproduce because we carried the genes that had these gifts. So you either went into the church and you became a saint, but you weren't allowed to reproduce, so you couldn't have money. You were just a slave to the church, or they burnt you at the stake so that your DNA would not go back into the main pool. Only the kings, the queens, the rulers, the 13 satanic families, that's what you want to call them, were allowed to have power and children to keep their money. And that's what it's all about, man. All this other stuff about, we got to do this stuff for free. No, man, that's slave language. That was designed to keep us down.
You know,
I've been
when people bring up what you just brought up, you're talking about royal bloodlines. It's like, that's ancient shit, ancient ideas. And one thing that nobody seems to remember except for me, and I researched it and made sure that I was right before I ever uttered the phrase again, but the last royal Celtic bloodline known to man is the Kennedys. The Kennedys. And that's that, and that, exactly. I mean, they're in power. You know, they have power to this day. But look at the shit that happens to them. It's like that's classic old school Irish family bloodline heck shit. No,
baby.
I have two known bloodlines that I believe. You know, I haven't had a DNA test that's clarified it, but Irish and Italian are huge, and those are vengeful fucking people. That makes perfect sense to me.
Well,
the
okay,
bloodline
so I'm a
curse
Luna.
of the Kennedys.
No, I'm a Luna, okay? I'm a Luna from the House of Aragon. My ancestors ran away from Spain because they didn't want to deal with the king, and they migrated to the Philippines and slept with everybody in sight. But I'm Luna. My family crest is the moon, and we are from the House of Trastamara. Okay? So that's where I know I get my blood from. But I'm a royal bastard. I'm descended from royal bastards, which is why I guess I'm okay. But still, it goes back to that original bloodline. And, you know, here's one thing that really bothers me. In some of the other subcultures, they take money from each other, like thousands of dollars to throw these balls, get crowned kings and queens, and then they treat their people like shit. It's like, I know some people who are real from authentic bloodlines, the Bismarcks, the Habsburgs, who are just ordinary people who don't treat people bad. And this bothers me. I know people with aristocratic bloodlines who are hardworking, decent people that you would never know are aristocrats because they don't, you know, I'm descended from who and who. And then there are these posers who like, I'm going to have a ball thrown in my honor and I'm going to be a king and queen. And they treat their people terribly. And I need to comment on that. It's like, no, man, that's not cool. That's not cool.
Well, let me ask you this. This thing, neighbor, I'm not sure exactly where you're living, but I know you're in the neighborhood as far as, you know, we are a neighborhood of a huge fucking city like we are. Did you ever see, what was it called, Shut Eye? On Showtime? Yeah.
No, haven't seen it.
Oh,
I thought it was Netflix.
but
Showtime?
no, it's Showtime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, that's one of the it's one of the things where I had to have Showtime, even though I had Netflix,
Yeah.
was because I had to watch that series.
It's about Romani.
It's about the
fortune tellers.
Romani fortune-telling culture
Oh.
in our backyard. Although apparently they filmed most of it in Canada, somehow they depicted Hollywood really well, and it was just like it was really kind of scary. This particular show from an outside perspective. It's like the Romani in the show, like they own certain practices in this town,
Yeah.
and they're like the fucking mafia. And if you're doing psychic
Yes.
shit with a license from the Romani, you got some problems.
Isabella
Well, I know-
Rossellini is the matriarch
Yeah.
in it.
I love Isabella Rossellini.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's one of my favorites. No, I gotta
They've
go
got
get
two
it. I gotta get it.
seasons. You know, I'd get. Is it Hulu?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Hulu. I get Hulu just
Okay.
to see that. They got 2 seasons now, and it's an incredible fucking show. But it's kind
I
of
gotta-
scary
I
when
gotta
they're just
see
like
it.
floating around Hollywood. It's like it's based on real events. And I remember, back in Santa Cruz, where we came from before we moved back here. There was a huge Romani population in the town next door to us, and they were always warring with each other. It was always really serious.
Oh, God.
And apparently they were
There
always hiring me, and I was actually being hired by both ends of the fight at one point. It was really funny.
Well,
But
you know
I
what?
had no idea that culture existed.
No, that culture has spilled over to the South Bay. They're very prevalent here in Hollywood. Not so much, although I do know some of the royalty. My partner Tony knows actually more of the royalty because we research true crime shows. One of the things that I was on last year was a television show called Crime Watch Daily, and I did a reenactment for them, and I played a gypsy who was arrested for absconding with several millions of dollars on a scam, and we had to do research behind that, and I ended up being the gypsy because they needed somebody who had tarot cards. Long story. And, some of their royalty, per se, they get millions and billions of dollars. And, there's a lot of money involved there, and so they're very territorial. But I would say that they're probably as dangerous and as organized as the mafia. The mafia and the gypsies, no joke. I wouldn't want to mess with either.
Well, there's in the show, one of the houses where the main people live is this gray kind of circular house that if you're in like West Hollywood and you look up the Hollywood Hills, it's the main major mansion that you see there. In the show, that's their house. But I don't think that's true. But most of the shows actually filmed in Canada somehow.
Yeah, I think they filmed the
But
inside scenes in Canada.
Yeah, but it's based on the
Yeah.
Romani dominance of the psychic trade in
Yes.
our neighborhood. In our neighborhood.
I wish you'd have told me sooner because Tony and I sometimes cast, not just for reality TV, but for regular TV, and I could have gotten you the royalty, baby. Hit me up about that the next time. I'll get you some gypsy kings and queens. No problem. They like to talk.
Check out the show. Back in Santa Cruz, I became what I like to think of as like I was kind of an arms merchant. I ended up in the middle of this Romani war, and I didn't really understand that both of the sides were my clients until late in the war. I've been supplying both sides with advice, with materials. Been making shit for both people. It's like way late in the game. I said, "Wait a minute, your name is what?"
The woman who was your target was later shopping at your store for protection supplies.
Yeah, I actually was paid to do some work, and that person ended up coming to my shop looking for protection.
So you were an
and
out-of-town
crossing supplies, and I looked at it. I go, "Oh God, wow, you've been coming here for years." It's like, but those other clients been coming here for more years, so you got a side somewhere. That's the word.
Oh my God, no! I feel a movie script coming on. I don't know.
I thought that at the time. I thought when I originally got involved with these people.
On a bunch of stuff.
When I originally got involved with this first group of people, they came to my shop and they wanted to hire me to go to their house and do readings at a party on Samhain, which is impossible. Not only was, I was the high priest of my tradition, I have my family stuff to take care of on Samhain. It's huge, major time. My son wasn't even one yet. My wife is totally giving me a hard time, and every time, eventually, once they threw down enough money, it's like I kept saying, no, I can't do that. And every time I balked, this woman would throw down a couple $100 more. And I said, no, I can't. I have so much shit that I've got to do. Samhain's a huge time for my people. But I saw this pile of money that was more than my rent. I called Marta up. I said, hey, honey, yeah, I'm going to have to take one for the team. I'm going to have to go spend Samhain at this random fucking Romani house. And I'll be back soon. And I went up to this house, and I ended up, I went from, the living room, several bedrooms, to the kitchen. There were groups of people in every room. And by the time I got to the kitchen, back to the, 12 and 13-year-old girls, the kids' table, it became clear to me that everybody in this house was a reader. Everybody in this house was psychic. Everybody in this house did that for their main source of living. And I'm talking to these 12 and 13-year-old girls are asking me about their future husbands. I'm shuffling the cards. I'm going, y'all are really young. I don't think you really need to be worrying about that. Maybe we could read something else. She says, the 13-year-old says, you don't understand. In our culture, we are arranged in marriage by the time we are 13 years old. So if you're not arranged by... I had no idea that this culture existed. I had no idea it was right next to my hometown. I had no idea they had so much fucking money to throw at somebody to read tarot to a whole house of people that are readers. And that was how I first got introduced to the Romani culture. But they've been good people. All of them good people, clients to this day, all of them. Love them. So Romani culture in Hollywood, don't bite me in the ass, please.
No, I know Tony's listening. Tony, we definitely have to have Michael as one of our guests. We have another show called Dark Workers Live that we do just by ourselves, and it's a spin-off from Light Workers. We decided, hey, we're the Dark Workers, okay?
That's the thing that made me want to have you on the show. When we saw that, I said, Dark Workers, okay, she'll be cool with our shit. No problem.
Yeah. No, we want you on Dark Workers Live. Our other show, Entertainment Tomorrow, you'll also like that because we start off with breaking news and then inside Hollywood gossip, like who's sleeping with who and why, and if there's any magic involved. And then we're going to have these really cool guests that are either going to be celebrity or they're going to talk about magic, or they're celebrities that actually know something about magic. Because let's admit it, this whole town is involved with magic, either to get roles. I mean, like the stories about how Nicolas Cage made a comeback in his career because he went to South America and had a South American worker work on him. And then the next movie after that was that movie that he did about witchcraft, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I mean, there's that legend. And then there's the story about how anybody who works on a film about Aleister Crowley dies or gets cursed. Or there's a new television.
What about the Babylonian gods? They're everywhere. They're at the Hollywood, the main thing with the Dolby Theater and everything. There's even back in Plummer Park in West Hollywood. There's statues of Babylonian gods. There's like a Jewish thing memorializing the Holocaust, and right over here there's these fucking Babylonian gods. And I looked them up on Google just to make sure I was right. That's a Babylonian god. The things at the gates to the Dolby Theater and the Chinese Theater and all that shit. Babylonian gods, they're everywhere. And the hippies call this place Babylon. They may have a point. I don't know what it is with the Babylonian gods. I'm cool with it, but it's fascinated me. I was wondering, you're
Okay,
a Hollywood
it's
witch.
because-
What you got to say
okay.
about that?
Okay, so there was a curse that was allegedly put on me by somebody who called forth Babylon at the original site where Jack Parsons and what is his name? He's the guy that did Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard
Ron Hubbard, yeah.
at Devil's Gate in Pasadena, right? So,
Yeah.
they were like, oh, we've cursed Marie, we've conjured Babylon, blah, 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 blah. Well, nothing really happened to me. I was fine. I got into a car accident, a minor fender bender that actually gave me enough money in a settlement to not really work for a year if I didn't feel like it. So I didn't kind of feel like that was a curse, you know what I mean? It was more like a vacation. That was a vacation, a free vacation. But, they were trying to bring forth the primal female energy of Babylon, and I don't think they did the research, and I think that was the downfall, because Babylon inside a human body over an extended period of time makes whoever it inhabits crazy. So it's like, I don't think the Babylon thing was too smart. Y'all did kind of go crazy, so, but what do I know? In the meantime, the little curse you put on me actually gave me a year vacation paid. So I'm kind of thinking that wasn't a curse.
It's one of
Gee,
those
how could I
Pyrrhic
say
victories
that?
right there. She had a
Yeah.
victory, but it cost her more than the victory was worth.
Yeah, let me tell you, baby. I know. So the one thing that Christian Day, who I work with off and on, he is the famous witch in Salem and in New Orleans, talks about
We've
is
had him on the show. It wasn't planned,
Oh, I
but we
love
had him on the
Christian.
show. It was terrible audio
love
quality.
Christian.
We had to do it really low tech, but yeah. And that's
Okay.
when
Do you know
when I
Christian?
got called to be. I'm going to be at the next Hex Fest. Yeah, that happened
are you
live
gonna
on
be
the
at
air.
Hex
I
Fest?
had no idea.
You're going to be at Hexfest? I love Hexfest.
I'm presenting at the
So
next
anyway,
Hex Fest. Yes.
Cool. So say hi to Christian and Brian for me, moi. I call Christian and Brian Batman and Joker. I'm the one that made that up. I'm like, I call yes, Batman and Joker, and you know who's Joker, and you know who's Batman.
Yeah.
I love those guys. So anyway, Christian's always talking about the Kabbalion and transforming energy as what we've talked to and discussed. Is the true alchemy is transforming whatever energy is given to you because of attention. It's spinning straw into gold, and I think I'm ready to come out with it. I mean, yeah, I've gotten a lot of bad press, but a lot of really good things happen to me as a result. I don't know, why people haven't really figured it out, but whatever.
The Kabbalion, that's Hermetics, and it gets me into trouble sometimes because the witch store where I grew up, the Eye of the Cat, is one of the few places to be so subtle. It still just says to this day Hermetic Supplies on the window, and only the people that get that are ever going to walk inside. My shop, back in Santa Cruz, we had to be blatant. It said Witchcraft Supplies, large letters on the front, giant pentacles, just to get people's attention with the Eye of the Cat. Subtle. But the thing with that is, like all magics I've ever researched, and that's the main thing that I've done since I was 13 years old. That's all I really want to do is research different magics. They're all going to come back to Hermetics. Whether they came from Hermetics or not, Hermes hit upon a certain set of laws that are universal in all magical systems that I've ever come across. They did not get that idea from Hermes, but Hermes just happened to hit upon those laws. And when I say that to the hoodoo people and the ATR people, they get really pissed off. It's like, no, I'm not saying you took anything from Hermes. And by the way, Hermes was Egyptian. Hermes was in Egypt, so he probably would have been black, I guess. It should be fine that came from Hermes, but people get really up in arms when I say that. But all magical systems that I have come across, studying nothing but that Well, the majority of that, since I was 13 years old, all following the laws of Hermetics, following the same magical laws. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Hermes was just fucking brilliant, and a lot of people in the world hit upon those same magical laws, and that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. You know, this is what bothers me, because when I started out, I was a cute girl. Everybody thought I was an airhead. I read Hermes Trismegistus. I've read the Kybalion. I've studied the Egyptian theories. I understand Gnosis. I'm doing Enochian magic now. And, you know, and I think that the prejudice against cute girls knowing something about magic needs to end. Because it's 2018. And people need to get over their prejudices and their stereotypes, you know. I just get really upset when people don't know or assume that I don't know anything. It's like, whatever. As soon as I start talking to them, they pull back and they're like, oh, my God. I went through the Claremont colleges. You don't get in there by being a dummy.
Yeah.
I you know. They
Well,
didn't choose me for my yearbook picture. Hello.
Well, I just, May is an anniversary of when Marta first walked into my witch store one day. And I often tell that story. It's like, yeah, she was a hot little witch, but it was her book selections that really piqued my interest. You know, there was, High Ceremonial Magic, some Crowley, Diary of a Drug Fiend, just like having the guts to select some of those books. That was the real turn on right there. I like them
so
smart
romantic.
and hot. Sorry.
That is so romantic. I applaud you for doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
I
thought
really
it was so
applaud you for
romantic.
doing that.
We met over witchcraft.
Oh, that's so...
Yeah.
I love stories like that. Yeah, I think that people need to stop objectifying women, especially in magic, and thinking that all we're good for is being kitchen witches. I know some really, really fine female occultists, herbalists, women that study the Dead Sea Scrolls, the different ancient languages, understanding the Davidic cipher and how it translates to numbers and letters and sound. These are all intellectual pursuits that women are fine with. People need to understand that. We're not all bubbleheads. You guys need to get over it.
Well, when I grew up, Wicca was the dominant force, and women held the reins there. So I don't know that I think that comes from other magical systems later, but it wasn't built in any of the systems that I learned. But yeah, but back then, I will caveat myself and fuck up my own argument. Back then, the majority of the witches and the pagans that I knew, the female witches, were not known for their looks at all. And that changed over time. That changed with the Hollywood witches, man. That changed with the craft. That changed with practical magic, charm. That was the era of the lipstick witches. Before that, we were depicted as very ugly, except for Samantha. Samantha was all right. Yeah, hairy, green, hooked nose, that kind of thing.
No.
Sexy witches was not
actually,
a popular thing back then.
No. Back in the day, there was a film out of England. I wish Tony were here, because he actually made me research the film. Sharon Tate, the gorgeous Sharon Tate, played a witch in a very popular movie. And now, Sharon Tate was my first exposure to a really beautiful witch. Then there were the witches in the Hammer films, who were all gorgeous. And then later Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery, Agnes Moorehead. I mean, yeah, they became the iconic witches on television. But let's talk about Sybil Leek, and who... I think that the head of the Alexandrian tradition, I forget her name. I hope you guys forgive me. She's gorgeous, still is. I mean, yeah.
I mean, back in the day, those black and white photos of the Janet Farrar. Those black and white photos in the 60s, Janet Farrar with a garter on and
Yeah.
Yeah, that was hot as shit back then. But, yeah.
Yeah. But, this year in particular, I've been working with John DeSalvo, who actually studied Enochian with Lon Mila Duquette. And DeSalvo's really funny, but he's a professor and he's a scientist, and we're constantly having these conversations about occultism applying to practical science, the laws of physics, Darwin, theory of relativity, time, and the different rules of physics operating in different universes. And that's the stuff that really fascinates me. People don't realize that. I don't talk about shopping all day. My God,
it absolutely fascinates me. But what I want to find. Maybe Marta could do it. I don't know. But I want to find a woman to talk this. It's like whenever I find a person talking about the science, the physics within magic, it's always a man. A good woman to explain that. Yeah. It's like I know women can do it. I know they're out there. A woman physicist, magician. It's like that. That's what I want to hear that discussion with. It's always seems to be man stuff.
Why don't I get you to Salvo on, and you can hear us argue about the laws of physics? We'd love that.
Well, yeah. We clearly have a lot of stuff to link up later.
Yeah. But what I learned from DeSalvo more than anything else, because I've been traveling through the ages with him, is that the laws of physics don't apply in the other dimension. However, the constructs remain if you bring them into this dimension. So, and we've been experimenting with that, and that's been really fascinating. But because the laws of physics don't operate in the other dimensions, to construct a magical operation is very easy. It's thought creation. The trick is bringing it back into this dimension and grounding it. I'm kind of excited about that.
Well,
I love that.
I had always been taught that the laws of metaphysics had variables not in line with the laws of physics. Like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. The laws of metaphysics do not say that. They say that every action has a reaction. Whether it's equal and opposite or anything else, that still needs some more calculations. We'll see where that lands, but it's not that clear. Every action has a reaction.
The challenge is to construct what you want in the other dimension and then bring it back intact into this one. Now, when you're making a magical object and you make it on the other side and you bring it here, it may have its own universe inside of it and have different laws within it or within an aura of it. That stuff fascinates me, and testing that with equipment.
Fascinating,
cool.
But we only have 15 minutes left in the show. We got to get out of
All right,
here.
what do you want to talk about?
That's too deep. We need to have you on another time to discuss that. That's huge. Huge.
That's cool, though. It's cool.
Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Every time we do a part 2, it's Electric Boogaloo. Maria.
I love that.
Not Maria. Okay. I got apparently after the show posts, I should be able to edit so it doesn't say you're Maria in that other. Unless you need another name. Would it be Maria too?
No.
People call me Maria.
Here's the thing that I try to teach my students, okay? People have to make up weird, funky names to create different identities. I have issues with them. I do. I know that we have magical names, but those are primarily kept in private. But when somebody comes up with a Starfire Sugar Hawk thing, more often than not, it's because she owes Bank of America $5,000. Not that she's been touched by the goddess, right?
I would do more than that.
I tend to call it a controlled multipolarism. It's like I give names to my different personalities so I can keep them in line, keep track of them.
And that's how you know where somebody knows you from, is based on the name that they use.
For the longest time, if they called me Phil, I knew where they knew me from. Then if they called me Uncle Phil or Uncle Birch, then Birch. Then now it's Michael Carell.
I call you Phil.
Now And you call me Phil if you're mad at me, and Michael if you're not mad. It's so confusing over here. I don't know who I am anymore.
I don't why marry?
No, I just. Well, here's the paradox. Okay, I'm Hindu, and in my belief system, Shakti is the divine feminine, and she can have up to 108,000 manifestations for every single one of her manifestations. So I get it. But it's so much easier just to say Shakti, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, Marta here is seriously into Kali, but that's another story.
Oh my
Marie.
God, no, Marta. Wait, I got to tell Marta.
Yeah.
The reason why I also worship Kali, it's part of the worship of Kashmir Shaivism, is because I got into a car accident and I was dead for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, and then I woke up with a scar in the shape of a crescent moon on my left hand with a dot in the middle of it. That's from Mark.
That's pretty cool.
No, Marta, girl, we have to hang out now.
Yeah.
Marta, you gotta come over to my house now. We gotta trade some oils and shit, girl. I got stuff for you, baby.
Cool.
Well,
Look
apparently
forward
we're
to it.
neighbors. So
Yeah.
the Hollywood
part of
witch,
Kashmir
the Hollywood
Shaivism-
warlock, and the Hollywood whatever you want to be called. You want to be a witch or
Yeah.
Sarah or
I have the sacred books and translations of Kashmir Shaivism of the calls of the different Kalis in Sanskrit and in English. Girl, you gotta come over.
Cool.
that sounds cool.
All right, let's do it.
So Marie,
Yeah.
what you got to plug? We got to cut out pretty soon. We got to play some music. You got
Okay.
marievargas.com.
That's Marie with a B. www.marie,
Yeah.
M-A-R-I-E, Vargas, B as in bank, ARGAS.com.
Mhm.
Style Coven, www.stylecoven.com. That's for PR services and lifestyle. My blog is The Hollywood Witch. My new show is Entertainment Tomorrow, or E2, with John DeSalvo, Tony Sopel, and Patience Smith. John DeSalvo, you guys will recognize
Oh,
from
Patience
Ancient
Smith.
Aliens. Oh, I love Patience. Yeah, she's my girl.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we all love Patience. Yeah, but DeSalvo's from Ancient Aliens, America Unearthed, and the Nostradamus Effect.
Wait.
These are
You're
main-
on Ancient Aliens? I got to see that one. We watch that show sometimes.
No, John's on Ancient Aliens. He is
Oh,
the
okay.
head of the
Wait,
Pyramid
John?
of Giza Society. John DeSalvo, yeah.
John
The Italian
DeSalvo.
guy with the hat from the, yeah, he's my main consultant. I talk to him every day,
We're
actually.
going to have to watch that.
Hey,
I watch
Johnny,
that
I
show
hope you're
sometimes.
listening.
I don't buy
Yeah,
the whole
Johnny
thing,
said
but
he'd
they come up
listen.
with some interesting ancient shit that is very pagan.
Yeah, no, I love John. He's awesome. Actually, we've got to do a show on John because he just bought some of the key pieces from the original and authentic Marie Laveau estate. He
Okay.
has a skull
We gotta get him
with
on.
eyes made out of with eyes made out of her earrings and her real hair. As a Polero, you know how much magic that's in that thing. Her real hair, dude, in a wig.
I would be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're salivating. Okay, that's my consultant on Entertainment
Okay.
Tomorrow. Tony is from
Sweet.
Den of Geek, 7 to 9 million hits a month. He does the alternative beat. He was one of the original creators of Vampire Theater. Patience, everybody knows and loves. Amazing voodoo woman, and me. And I will certainly let you guys know when E2 is coming on the air. So we're just getting our act together. We want to. wanna launch
Absolutely gotta
good.
check that out. All right. Well, we'll be talking, neighbor. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
We're going to have you on
Oh,
again.
it's a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
Marie Vargas, thanks for coming on Widdershins.
Thank you for having me.
And you can find us at thesacredgrovestore.com. You find my YouTube channel at FreakPhil1309 at YouTube. What's our email address?
Widdershinsradio@gmail.com.
Widdershins Radio. We are, hold on, let me get rid of that. Here at Widdershins, we have just reached the stage where we have enough viewers or listeners or whatever you call that to seek sponsors. You want to get advertised on Widdershins? You want to help Widdershins continue our broadcast? get a hold of us at widdershensradio@gmail.com. That's the main reason for the email. Or, anything else you want to get to us, suggestions for guests, you hate us, you like us, whatever. widdershensradio@gmail.com. You can also find me at gumroad.com. That's gum, like gum on your shoe, road.com, /witch school, which is, of course, WITCHSKEWL. And we thank Marie for being on the show. I'm sure we'll probably have her on again.
Sure.
A neighbor and all that kind of thing. Be neighborly. Might have her over for drinks and shit. Who knows? Fucking. All right. Widdershins. A twisted approach to the left-hand past. Yeah. We're going to songs and shit. Thanks for joining us.
A new age of reason, brain treason to trick the mind. What good is searching if nothing's there to find? We arrive at this place of no return, my brothers, only to discover that our minds have led us away so far from the paper truth of who we are. What's right is wrong, what's gone is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's benign corrupts and died. All our come forth, bear witness. See the profit from your loss, beg for forgiveness. Only after you tally the cost. We arrive at this place of no return, my sisters, only to discover that our values ran us aground on the show in the sea of what we could be. What's right is wrong, what's come is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's been right corrupts and dies. gets heat. Ezekiel's calling. Fight until the word is good and ripe and get plucked clean out of sight. The world will be erased. Our king will be immaculate, ejaculated space before the king of kings love. He'll snatch us from above. Brothers, help me sing it. Welcome to the new dark ages. Yeah, I hope you're living right. These are the new dark ages, and the world might end tonight. So how do you sleep? There's nothing to keep. This is deep, because we're animals with golden rules who can't be moved by rational views. Yeah, welcome to the new dark ages. I hope you're living right. Welcome to the new dark ages. Say it again, yeah. These are the new dark ages. I hope you're living right. And the world might end tonight.
Big A, little A, bouncing B. The system I got your body won't get me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand and control, like you gonna let it get you. Gonna be a prisoner of bad state section. So you wanna be a summer kind of thing, I'll let you. You're out to get you. Hello, this is the Lord God, can you hear? Hellfire and damnation, what I've done for you down there. On earth I have ambassadors, I'm Bishop, Vicar, Pope. We'll fight you with morality, you best abandon any hope. We're telling you, you'd better pray, 'cause you were born in sin. Right from the start, we'll build ourselves, and then we'll lock you in. We're sitting only judgment, condemning those that stray. We offer our forgiveness, but first we'll make you pay. And take control, now you're gonna let 'em get you. Gonna be a prisoner of bad state section. Say you wanna be a summer kind of thing, I'll let you. We're out to get you. Hello. Now here's a message from your queen. And figurehead of the status quo, I set the social scene. I'm most concerned about my people. I want to give them peace. So I'm making sure they stay in line with my army and police. My prisons and my mental homes have never opened door. For those amongst my subjects who dare to ask for more. Unruliness and disrespect are things I can't allow. So I'll see the peasants grovel if they refuse to bow. And take control, now you're gonna let 'em get you. Gonna be a prisoner of bad state section. Say you wanna be a summer kind of thing, I'll let you. You're out to get you. Introducing the bad sister. She's a mother to us all. Got a gun boy finger in the dike, her ass is in the wall. Holding back the future, waiting for the seas to part. If Moses did it with his faith, she'll do it with an army. Overtime a fair crisis, a certain to be there. Going national heritage, no matter what or where. Palace for king and queen, smash for the rich, protection for the wealthy, defense of privilege. They've learned their own tonight, they go to civil war, fighting for the ruling class, their battle against the poor. So I just island, it's an island of mine. Right being for the bollocks, you bear them behind. Ran every other corner, stand and see when I let fall. Guard up the future, in with the law. It's days to remind that I'm matter what to do. In fact,
affect your life, and my life's up to me. The problems that you suffer from are problems that you make. The shit we have to climb through is the shit we choose to take. If you don't like the life you live, changing how it's yours. Nothing else affects if you don't recognise the cause. If the program's not the one you want, get up, turn off the set. It's only you that can decide what life you're going to get. If you don't like religion, you can be the Antichrist. If you're tired of politics, you could be an anarchist. But no one ever tried to jump a bullet down the staple. You'll never be the system of bombing number 10. Think that that's the mind of break them out the mind of people. You might just live into one, but they'll be back again. If you don't like the rules they make, refuse to play their game. If you don't want to be a number, don't give them your name. If you don't want to be called out, refuse to hear the question. Silence is a virtue, use it for your own protection. I try to make you play their game,